I got to see what they were talking about Once Upon a Deadpool. It's a PG-13 version of the same movie, but with 20 minutes of alternate footage featuring Fred Savage from Princess Bride. Mind the line in the background, doing renovations. He's almost tortured up in a bed as Deadpool tells him the story of how I've done all these things and all this and that. Yeah, this uses the same story, so I think you already know. If you've seen it already, you kind of know what you're getting. But all the graphic violence and strong language and occasional nudity has been trimmed. The reason why I had to go see is because I myself am a film censorship enthusiast. I read about it, I check the websites, I'm very curious as to why films get certain categories over others. So to see an edited version of Deadpool 2 get a PG-13, unfortunately got the same rating as the original, and its extended cut in the UK got a 15, which is almost shooting yourself in the foot. It doesn't really make much sense there. But using in relative terms the American rating, which is PG-13, or if you're in Australia, they gave it an M category. In Canada, mostly PG, I think. So you do notice, major differences here and there. But you know what? That didn't really detract from the film itself. It was very funny, a lot of jokes and random sort of set pieces and humor, and the action was still pretty kinetic, even if you didn't get to see a lot of bloodshed or Deadpool saying, "Fuck this, fuck that, oh, excuse my language, but you get the idea there. I mean, most people who will be watching this film with you are pretty much adults, so you should know already to a certain point. What else was I going to say? Well, I know if you're trying to compare this one to other superhero films that have come out this year, like Black Panther, like Venom, it kind of falls short, even in its theatrical cut, super extended cut, and this PG-13 cut. It doesn't quite reach its heights, but you know what? Having seen it 3 times already, in 3 different versions. I only seen one version each. Definitely gives it a new perspective, and actually makes me more interested in the film itself than when I originally saw it at the cinema in its theatrical 15 certificate R-rated cut. It gives it a bit more, sort of intrigue and excitement to the story as well. I like how they put that whole little Princess Bride spin upon it. It definitely made it a bit more interesting than it could have, and just instead what they could have done was like a Saturday Night Fever, Passion of the Christ thing, by just cutting it entirely, cutting out all the nasty bits and just making it as the film itself. But they put a little bit of a twist in it with the Fred Savage bit, which I just think makes the film even more interesting in of itself. It doesn't just feel like I could watch a TV or airplane version of the same film. And let me just advise you about that. When people try to edit certain things for broadcast and whatnot, people eventually fill in the blanks to themselves and say, "Oh, I could probably see that online," or "Whatever, it's not going to bother me, is it?" Well, they actually got a point there. Especially, I'm sorry if I'm getting a bit too wordy here. You'll be hearing all these censorship headlines surrounding the ostracization of Baby It's Cold Outside, and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and Fairy Tale of New York, which are all sort of, Christmas parts of media that have been flagged for its certain content and whatnot. And I'm sure Deadpool probably could be put in that same league, because there's a lot of offensive jokes, even in its censored version, that makes light of subjects like pedophilia and rape and stuff, which is off-putting. It doesn't feel right for a film at the PG-13. I think if they wanted to show what they were doing, they could have taken those bits out, but that's up to the discretion of the MPAA. I really don't have any sort of control over that. That is the US censors what they're doing. It's not democratic. It's voted by the parents. They're the ones deciding in the panels what you can or cannot show. It's actually not a sort of like a guideline set list like it is in Britain or Ireland or Australia for that matter. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out there. If you're definitely going to see it, give it a try. If you love Deadpool, you're definitely going to love the censored version. It does not let down in its jokes. It's actually very funny. Yes, it is censored, but actually, sometimes humor that's not excessively vulgar or excessively violent can be funny. I mean, look at Venom. That was one of the funniest superhero films this whole year. That was a PG-13 or 15, same rating, but milder content, a little less graphic. But still, it was hilarious. Deadpool 2 was pretty funny too in its theatrical and censored cut. So, we'll have to wait and see how things, progress as we go on and say, what will be the best film of the year. And I can tell you right now, it's not going to be this one, unfortunately. But having seen the censored cut, it definitely gave me a better impression of the film itself. So, that's my review there. I was certainly love to talk more about film censorship, but I probably have to leave because it looks like it's closing right now. And feel free to subscribe to my film reviews, and we'll be hoping to hear from you soon when I review movies like The Mule or Welcome to Marvin. I love the animation in it. Alright then, take care.